Good afternoon. Thank you for joining today's webinar session about how to manage asset, maintenance, facility, and energy management operations digitally in the face of COVID-19. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I am with Bimser International, and today we'll be talking about how you can manage your assets and maintenance operations in a digital environment. I have my colleagues with me today. I have Sam Watts and I have Hakan Aydoklu. So together we'll be talking about this subject in the digital environment, and we'll also demonstrate BEAM, our asset maintenance, energy, and facility management software. Today what we like to do is a different setup comparison to previous weeks. We like to talk about BEAM and demonstrate our software solution right away in the beginning of our webinar, and then we'll talk about the details of our software as well as our company as to who we are and what we do. Before we jump to the details, just some notes with regards to BEAM. BEAM is our enterprise level asset and maintenance management software. We've been developing since 1998. We have more than 400 customers. Very reputable organizations are using BEAM, and we have right now more than 15 million assets being managed on the system. And today what I like to do is I like to invite my colleague Sam, and he'll be demonstrating how you can manage your assets, maintenance, operations, and spare parts in a digital environment. So before further ado, Sam, would you like to take over the screen?
Sure. Okay, and thank you, Kevin. I'm going to take over the screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. And let's get started. Thank you for joining today's webinar, and this is Sam from Bimser International. Also, I'm based in New York, and I'm the pre-sales software engineer of Bimser International. So this is the homepage of BEAM, which is our asset maintenance and also energy management system. So after you log into BEAM, you can see the dashboard on your home screen. So the dashboard is a visualization tool which put together your real-time data in all the widgets in your dashboard. And it will show your real-time data in a scorecard, in a table, in a list, in a pie chart or bar chart. So it's helped you to keep tracking the performance and also KPI of your company. And by reading this dashboard, it's also helped you to plan your future action planning after you analyze, for example. And in BEAM, all the user accounts are permission-based, which means not everyone can see everything in the system. You will have the permission based on your role, position, profession, department, or group. And as now, I'm logging in as the admin so that I have the full control of the system. For example, like in the main menu, I can connect to every modules in BEAM. For example, the asset module, maintenance, material, and personnel module. And BEAM, in this webinar, I want to share with you is BEAM is ready to integrate with any ERP systems like Sage, SAP, Acumatica, and we have a ready-made example that I can show you if you want to see it in detail, and a demonstration for the integration as well. So coming back to the system. In our main menu, you can see all the available modules here, and BEAM has its modular structure, which means you can pick and choose the module that you want to have and deploy on your server. And let us get to the asset module first. In this module, you can have a real Google map, which you can see the different locations of your organizations. For example, your warehouse, your factories, and for example, your plants. In addition, you can integrate with the GPS that is equipped on your moving assets for maintenance purposes. so that you can see the real-time location. For example, if you send your truck to a service center for maintenance, then you can see the real-time location on this Google map of that particular truck. And in this module, you can also find the graphical asset tree. It allows you to upload the blueprint or the floor plan of your facilities. Furthermore, you can pinpoint the location of your fixed asset. As you can see on your screen, like different several green dots on this graphical asset tree. And these are the locations of the fixed asset. And you can move your cursor to this asset and get the basic information like its status, the code, the name, department, and so on regarding this asset. And if there's any maintenance operation is scheduled to this asset, the system will change the color of your asset from green to red. And it is dynamic in the system, which means once we have maintenance operation is scheduled, then the color of your asset will change accordingly in this graphical asset tree. So that as for the management, for example, you will get the idea how many of your machinery or equipment they are working or they are not by using this graphical asset tree. And in the asset module, you can also find the asset tree, which will show the structure of your company in a hierarchy form. So you will get a better idea how your assets, they are located in different locations, for example, or departments. So you can expand the asset tree and get all of them in this hierarchy form. And also you can find the asset line in this asset tree, which means you can combine two different assets in order to perform one single task. In this example, you will see we have a truck and there is a heavy-duty crane connected with this truck, which means we equip a heavy-duty crane to this truck. And another example will be we have a trailer and also a truck, and also we can combine them together in BIM and schedule a single task to these two assets. And as I mentioned, all the tasks that we schedule to the parent's asset or the maintenance operations, it will automatically apply to the dependent assets as well. One more side note here is you can have unlimited layer by using BIM in terms of this asset tree, which means you can have technically infinity layer in this asset tree. And then let's go back to the asset list. You can see all the assets that we have recorded in the system. And if we integrate with other ERP system, then the data in the ERP system will be the master data, and we will pull those data from the ERP system like Sage, SAP, or Acumatica into our system as BIM. And by using BIM, you can record the information of your asset like the status, department, as I mentioned before, and also like the brand, the model, and serial number. You can define the asset material that will be used for maintenance operation of this asset, like the fields, gear, or brake drums, for example. Also, you can define the maintenance team, which is responsible to all the maintenance operations for this asset. And once we have scheduled a maintenance operation to this asset, then this team will be the default team or member in order to take care of that maintenance operation. Besides, you can record the information, for example, like the insurance and also inspection. For the vehicle inspection info, it is very important that you should manage for your fleet, like your truck or your forklift, for example, so that you can record those this information and also set up an alert to be sent by BIM automatically. So by the expiry date come, the system will create a notification to the responsible person in order to remind this responsible person to take care or update the insurance and inspection information. As the appearance is one of the best ways that you identify which asset you're interacting with, so that you can upload the picture of the asset, like your equipment, machinery, or vehicle, and connect it with this record. And if there is any document like the handbook, safety guideline, instructions, those documents can be uploaded to the system and connect with this asset as well. And BIM has its own reporting tool for every single module and provides over 10,000 ready-made reports, so that you can use the reporting tool and create the ready-made report in the system. On your left, you can set up some condition before you generate your report, like the asset code, or the department, asset status, or the location. Once you set up the condition, then you can generate your report, and all the data will be shown in a table and also in a pie chart. In this example, you will see how many assets they're in active status, and also how many of them they're in the passive status, which means they are out of production or out of order. You're more than welcome to export your report into PDF, Excel, or image for sharing with any responsible parties. Instead of generating your report every single time you need it, actually, you can schedule your report to be sent by BIM automatically. And under this configuration, you will receive this report in your email inbox every day at 10 in the morning, so that you don't have to log in and generate this report every time you need this report, and instead, BIM will send it to you in your email inbox automatically. And next, let us go to the maintenance module. So think about, we have an unplanned breakdown of our machinery or equipment. So the employee on the ground, they can create a work request by filling up this fast request form. And to this form, or every single page in BIM, we can always add or delete any fields that you want to have in BIM. And then the employee on the ground, they can provide the asset code, which they can pick and choose the asset which got the problem. And you will see the asset list that we have, and we can create our work request and define the work type and the maintenance or the failure code. If there's any supportive information that you want to share with the control center or the maintenance department, you can type in this open text box, like smoke coming out from the engine, for example. And also BIM has its own native mobile application, so that you can upload your picture that you took by using your handheld device, like your smartphone or tablet, and upload it and connect with this work request. Once your work request is ready, then you can save it, and this request will be sent to the work order pool. So this work order pool is mostly managed by the control center or the maintenance department. As I mentioned, you can find all the work requests that you create in this work order pool, or you can create a new work order directly. And while you're creating a new work order or managing an existing work request to be a work order, you can schedule the start date and end date for this work order on your top right. So you can pick and choose the date in a calendar view, and also assign this to the particular team or a particular employee. And if there's any material that will be used for this maintenance operation, you can define them to right here, and you will see your spare parts or material list. So these are all the material that we have recorded in our material as known as the spare part module. And I will show show it to you in a minute. If there's any services that you need, which is provided by the third party, like contractor, vendor, or supplier, then you can define it right here and update the quantity of the services that you need. For example, if it is managed or measured by hours, let's say we need 4 hours of the services, and then we can save it, and this services will be saved as a record and connect with this work order. You can also define the work steps as a reference for the maintenance team, so that you can pick and choose the work step, like check the engine and save it. And also the team has to pick and choose if they have done based upon the work steps that you have defined right here. You can upload the handbook, safety guideline, or instruction as a reference for the maintenance team. And all the costs will be calculated by the system automatically. So it gives you an idea how much this work order is going to cost your company. And after that, we can save this work order, and the responsible person, which is the work labor, will receive a notification regarding this work order that we have just created. Also, you can find all the work order that you have scheduled in a calendar view. So it gives you an idea of how many work or tasks that we have scheduled, for example, in this month. And also you can change the view in this calendar to day. Then you can see this particular date and in different hours, what kind of task that we have scheduled, or we can change it to week, work week, and also month. In order to keep your asset at the best condition, you can create a preventive maintenance record in the system. So for example, like we have a truck, and then we want to create, or we want to have a preventive maintenance every year, for example, then we can check the checkbox as follow-up by date, so that the date will be the unit of measurement for carry out the next maintenance date. And also you can choose the period unit as day, week, or month. So let's say every 12 months, which means 1 year. And you will see the next maintenance date will be updated to 2021. And if we change it to 24, like 2 years, you will see the next maintenance date will be updated to 2022. So the system will do the calculation for you in order to minimize the human error and also make sure your asset will have the preventive maintenance accurately. Besides using the date as the unit of measurement, you can use the counter as a unit of measurement for having your next maintenance operation. So for example, like we can use temperature, humidity, production, vibration, or mileage, kilometer, for example, as the unit of measurement for having your next maintenance operation. And while you're creating your preventive maintenance, you can also set up or define the materials that will be used for this preventive maintenance, and also attach any document if needed. After receiving it, the system will notify the responsible person in terms of this preventive maintenance by the date count, or once we reach the certain value that we have set up for the counter reading. And next, we have the material module, as known as the spare part module, which allows you to manage your materials and also spare parts. So you can manage your information of your materials, for example, their name, their code, and also their warehouse, serial number, model and brand, and expiry date if there's any. Also, by using this module, you can set up the warehouse parameters. This is a very nice features to help you to optimize your inventory cost in order to optimize your inventory costs. For example, to this warehouse, the max stock level that we can have, let's say, is 100 units, and then the minimum is 20, and also the safety stock level, let's say it is 40, so that the system will keep checking if we reach this parameters that we set up, in order to make sure we will not run out of this material in our warehouse, and also it will not have more than we expected in this warehouse as well, in order to optimize your inventory costs, as I mentioned in the beginning. So once it's reached, for example, the safety stock level, as for example, now we have only 39 units of this material in this warehouse, then the system will create a notification and remind the responsible person of the warehouse, for example, to purchase more of this material to this warehouse. In addition, you can define the equivalent spare part for this particular material, so that in case we run out of this material in this warehouse, we can always refer to the system and see what can be an alternative in order to keep our operation running. You can attach all the attachment or document to this spare part, like again, the handbook, instruction, or safety guideline, for example, and connect with this material, and also upload a picture of these materials. In this module, you can also manage the material transaction, for example, like incoming, withdrawal, and also transfer from one location to another. So those can be managed and recorded in the system. For example, like we have an incoming of our material, like there's a spare part is going to increase in its quantity, so that we can pick and choose the warehouse and then enter the material that will increase in its quantity. So for example, like the gears, then you can also record or enter the price. For example, it's $50 each. And BIM support multi-currency in the system, so that you can have USD, like US dollars, or a pound or Japanese yen, for example. Those will be based upon your preference, and we can update this currency unit or currency in our system, which means we can add, edit, or delete any currency that you want to have in the system. After that, we can also enter how many is going to increase in its quantity, like 20 units. Then we can save this, and this record will be saved in the system, and anytime you can retrieve it by using the reporting tool, and all the transaction will have its own unique voucher number. So it's helped you to keep tracking all the transactions in the system as well. At last, we come to the personnel module, as known as a skill management module. So in this module, you can record all the information of your employee or like your engineer, and you can record the information like their shift, their position, and the warehouse they're working at, their wage, like their salary, and also their picture. Some additional information, like personal information, for example, education, work experience, or if they have driving license, those can be entered here as well and managed in this module. So one more thing is we can also upload the documents like their license or certification or certificate into and connect with this employee. So for example, for some maintenance operation, it has to manage or performed by a certified employee or engineer, and they have to hold certain certificate, so that we can upload their certificate and enter their the expiry date of their certificate and manage it in BIM as well. So if their certificate is expired, so we cannot assign this kind of maintenance operation to this employee, and they have to renew their certificate accordingly. Also, you can find the resource occupation calendar. In this calendar, you can see the schedule of the employees. So those will be shown in a calendar view, and furthermore, you can compare the schedules of multiple employees and avoid any conflict while you're assigning the task to the employees. And also, by reading this calendar, you will see what kind of task that we assigned it to our engineer and what is their schedule in terms of monitoring their performance. It's come to the end of my demonstration. Thank you very much.
Sam, thank you very much for the demonstration. Much appreciated. Let me take over the screen in the meantime, and then I will continue, I believe, my part. Let's see. I'll bring it to the screen. Okay, perfect. Sam, thank you very much. Okay, so after the show and tell, let's talk about our company, Bimser International, and also I'll dig deeper in terms of BIM and its benefits and its features. Why is important, where you can use it, and how you can actually make your life easier in the face of COVID-19 when you are managing your assets, your maintenance operations. Let's talk about our company a little bit. Bimser International, our company is an enterprise-level software maker since 1998. We are based in New York. In a sense, we help companies automate their business processes and help them digitize their operations, adopt digital transformation. So these are important. It's an important mission that we take it very seriously. We are very active in various business. We are very close to manufacturing organizations, servers, distribution, as well as banking and finance organizations, so to be able to be in touch, to exchange information, and to learn from them in terms of what type of challenges they have and how they're operating and what type of developments are happening in those industries. We are also active in manufacturing industry as well in at Hapak Industry Association, especially in the Manufacturing and International Trade Committee. Also, another information for our company is we have an internship program called University of Bimser International. We teach university students how to do pre-sales and how to do software engineering, which is very popular nowadays among university students, and we are very happy for the interest. As for our company, we have global presence. While we are based in New York, we are also active in Europe, in Middle East, Asia, Africa, and South America as well. So as you see on the map, we are actually a group of companies. We are about 200 people. We are a growing organization. European Bank is one of our investors. So with the help of European Bank, we have more visibility in international markets. And of course, we have more resources to support our partners and our customers. Speaking of partners, we have partners of various ERP ecosystems. For example, we are a certified SAP vendor. We are a Microsoft Gold partner. We are a partner of Acumatica, MYOB. Also, we are very active in Sage ERP ecosystem, Sage Intacct, Oracle, and also NetSuite. As for our quality management systems, we are ISO 9001 certified and ISO 271 certified. So we have policies and procedures in place to make sure we always deliver the highest quality of projects at every single opportunity and sales that we have. And when we deliver those projects, we follow our quality management system to make sure customer satisfaction is achieved. Since 1998, we focus on these 4 products. We have been developing these 4. We have EBA as a workflow and document management system. It helps companies automate their business processes. So any business process that you have, you can digitize, then you can run it with the help of EBA. We have BIM, as Sam demonstrated earlier. It is an asset maintenance, facility, energy, and information about BIM in a second. We have QDMS as quality, risk, compliance, and audit management software. You can manage all your quality management systems. You can comply with ISO, IATF, AS9100, FDA, and many other standards in a digital environment with the help of QDMS, which is very popular nowadays, especially in the face of COVID-19. it is important for companies to manage quality, and having the QDMS ready, especially in cloud environments, since the system is web-based, companies really appreciate the benefits of QDMS to comply with standards as well as managing quality management systems. And finally, we have Ensemble as an intelligent business process modeling and performance management system. We also develop a contract management application running on EBA platform. It helps companies manage contracts digitally. It also has electronic signature capabilities, and you can get rid of papers in a paperless environment. You can manage all your contracts, vendor contracts, customer contracts, and so on. And our systems are designed to run standalone independently. We also have a mobile application available. Our systems work on cloud as well as on-premise servers. They are web-based, meaning you can access from anywhere, especially nowadays. In the face of COVID-19, you may want to have access to your company data remotely. So our systems are designed to run web-based. So you can just access, let's say, Beam, as Sam demonstrated earlier, just by using a web browser, which is very easy. And even though our systems are designed to run independently as standalone, we also integrate with any ERP system and CRM system. So Sam mentioned earlier, and I also mentioned earlier, is for our ERP connections. So we have ready-made connectors since we are very active in various ERP ecosystems, as I listed some of them. So all of our products can pull and push data in a digital environment. So you don't have to double enter certain information once you enter it in your ERP system or in our system, in Beam, QDMS, or EBA, so that we can basically share the same information with your ERP system or CRM system or any other application that you are using at your organization. We have developed these 4 products and we have been deploying them since 1998. On the slide, you can see how many projects we have delivered by the end of last year. As you see, we have actually thousands of customers. These numbers also show more or less how many customers we have. We have thousands of customers and we have millions of professional users. So our systems are solid, they are reliable, and they are scalable. So if you're a company, if you're a growing company, if you have multiple locations, or if you are planning to have, and if you need scale when you are growing, you may be a company with mid-market, you may be an enterprise level company. You'll enjoy the benefits of our products as to the scalability, ease of use, also their capabilities as to adopt cloud technology as well, especially nowadays, most of us working remotely. We have a lot of reputable customers. I just said some of them on the list. As you see, many reputable organizations choose to use our products globally, also nationally, and we are proud of this opportunity, and we are looking forward to have more and more customers in coming days. So that is who we are and what we do in a nutshell as Bimser International. So what I like to do is I like to talk about Beam a little bit further in terms of its benefits, features, and then we'll address your questions. I've been receiving questions from you, so we'll address your questions in Q&A session right after my presentation. So the way that we are actually approaching all of our solutions, including Beam, as for enterprise level or mid-market level asset and maintenance management, is actually digital transformation. So when we look at digital transformation, it's actually adapting an organization's structure and culture to capture opportunities enabled by technology. That's actually my actually favorite definition is to digital transformation. So there are benefits of it. You can be more competitive with the help of digital transformation. You can increase customer satisfaction. You can increase efficiency at your organization. You can be compliant easily digitally, whether you are compliant with FDA, maybe you are compliant with ISO, maybe you are compliant with AS9100, depends on your organization. So that is also an important advantage, complying while adopting digital transformation. And you can reduce costs while you are becoming more productive and increasing customer satisfaction. Then it'll definitely reduce costs and increase sales. That's inevitable. When we look at Beam, that's an asset maintenance, facility, energy, and fleet management software. That's basically the digital transformation of asset and maintenance management. That's how we are looking at it. There are benefits of using Beam, you can take control of your assets. When we say assets, that may be your machinery, equipment, cars, trucks, buildings, for example. So you can take control of its life cycle. And also you can take control of your maintenance operations. That will also extend your asset life cycle. You like to use it as long as possible. If you have a building, you like to take care of it. You like to use it for a long time. Same thing if you have a car, if you have a truck, if you have a fleet of trucks of your company, for example, if you have machinery, equipment, you like to use them as long as possible. That's because that's your asset. You own it, and you spend money on it. You've been keeping it, so you like to have it for a long time. That is an important benefit. Also, you like to manage your spare parts. You like to also comply comply with quality and management standards in a digital environment, which Beam actually provides. These are some of the benefits. Furthermore, we've been getting also feedback from our customers. Once we deploy Beam as a solution to manage asset and maintenance operations, our customers managed to reduce cost 15 to 20%, which is an important cost reduction. And failure reduction success rate is 40 to 80%, which is also very, very important. And Beam has a very modern technology. It has connectors to connect other software systems such as ERP systems, CRM systems, manufacturing execution systems, or IoT devices, just to remotely monitor the health of your machinery, equipment, or your work environment, for example. So we can easily pull and push data from to Beam. And the ERP systems that we are referring to, maybe any ERP system, maybe SAP, maybe Microsoft products, Microsoft Dynamics products, for example, which is very common for us to work with. There may be Acumatica, Sage Intacct, Sage 300, 100, X3 perhaps, and maybe any other ERP system, because we have the connectors, so we can pull and push data as to asset information, spare parts, master data as to vendors, employees, and also products, for example. So that is an important benefit that they are offering us, to have ready-made connectors to connect ERP systems. And there are many, of course, verticals that we have been offering Beam to: manufacturing industry, facility management, hospitality, transportation, healthcare, pharma, for example. Oil and gas is also another heavy equipment industry that's been enjoying benefits of Beam, that we have been working with many companies. Same with mining, construction, fleet management is an important vertical that we have been offering Beam to. So this is basically the proof that Beam is actually pretty much vertical free. However, since we have a lot of customers and they are managing millions of assets, that's a fact. We have a lot of experience in many different industries. So I just wanted to make a list of it to give you an idea to you. Beam has a modular structure. So the basic module that we put together is actually asset management, maintenance management, spare part personnel management. It's also called resource management, as my colleague Sam demonstrated earlier in this webinar. So what Beam does, in essence, fundamentally, is bringing three things together for maintenance purposes: man, machine, and material. That's the same 3M that we use for production. So Beam is actually bringing these three elements together: man, machine, and material. So when we look at the maintenance manager module, for example, as Sam demonstrated earlier, the maintenance manager module takes care of periodic maintenance, preventive maintenance, and predictive maintenance. Yes, of course, system also takes care of breakdown maintenance as well, but the idea is to have no breakdown while you are using Beam, because you basically utilize the periodic and preventive and predictive maintenance capabilities of the system. So why having the breakdown, unplanned breakdown, right? So that's the goal. In addition, we have supporting modules such as purchasing management, energy management, and dashboard modules. As discussed earlier, Beam is multi-language, multi-currency, and multi-location. You may have one location, you may have multiple locations. You can use Beam with a web browser. It's that easy. You may be using multi-currency, or you may be using one currency. Doesn't really matter. We have the infrastructure. So if you like to grow, if you need additional currencies, we have that option on the table anytime you like to take it. And also, multi-language is also an important feature that we are offering. And especially nowadays, we see companies are operating globally, nationally. Sometimes they like to have local languages or other options for their employees. We have those options available for you. So these multi-language option is an important feature to talk about. And the executive dashboard is ready to help you manage your and monitor your KPIs as to service cost, labor cost, material cost, open work orders, for example, incidents, for instance, and other KPIs that you are actually following in your company that you can manage. And another important thing is to actually talk about graphical asset tree. You may have machinery, equipment, facilities, right? So by using your blueprint, you can locate your equipment and asset and machinery on the blueprint, and you can actually see live which ones are working, which ones are actually under maintenance, which is actually a very practical tool, especially for a management level maintenance and asset executives to see what the company is up to as for asset and maintenance management. And there is a native mobile app works with iOS and Android devices where you can actually use Beam and enjoy its benefits as to create work orders or manage checklists, for example. You can take pictures, you can upload it if you like to report any breakdown, for instance. You can follow work steps with the help of these practical mobile app. You can scan barcodes and QR codes to identify assets, and it is actually very practical, and it's actually the best tool that any maintenance management operator or professional may have. And also, we have been integrating with many different ERP systems, as I mentioned, SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, Acumatica, Sage, Oracle, and so on. So we have a foundation integration model, which is actually very expandable. We expand it depends on the customer's your needs. So we typically integrate with the assets, materials, as well as general ledger as to labor cost, material cost, and other costs that may be borne when you are taking care of any work orders, for instance. Okay, great. So up to now, we talked about Beam as to how you can manage asset and maintenance operations digitally. We demonstrated it. Also, we talk about how actually it may integrate with ERP systems briefly. Also, we talk about Bimser International as to who we are and what we do in a nutshell. And we talk about Beams, our enterprise level asset and maintenance management system, as to its benefits as well as features. So while we actually created Beam as an enterprise level solution, we have a lot of customers in mid-market using Beam. Its scalability, its capabilities actually are very important for many companies, including also in mid-market. So we've been working both levels of the marketplace, I must say, mid-market as well as enterprise. Okay, great. So let's talk about the questions. We've been receiving questions, and then we'll address them one by one. So one of the questions that we receive is how to manage purchasing operations in Beam. Sam, would you like to address this question as to purchasing management? I can also jump in partially if you like.
Sure. In order to manage your purchasing management, actually, first of all, in our maintenance module, maintenance management module, we have a built-in integration with the purchasing modules in Beam, so that you can manage, for example, your purchase requests, what that's for example, if we want to link with certain maintenance operation like a work order, so
Perfect. Thank you very much, Sam. Another question that we receive is about the dashboard. Is dashboard fixed or it is customizable? Is it Sam? Would you like to address the dashboard, please?
Yeah, sure. That's a nice question. And to the dashboard, it is customizable, and also we will call it like configurable. So we will put together what you want to see in the dashboard, and you can have your own design dashboard regarding like the place of your widget and the data in the widgets, and also the size of the widget, which means different users, they can have different dashboard on their home screen and also in the system.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. Another question that we have is, we operate in a high-risk industry. Is it possible to manage risk while we are creating work orders in Beam? Maybe I can address that partially, Sam, so you can jump in if I miss anything, please. So
Sure.
while actually you are defining your work orders or your operations as to what type of operation it will be, what type of work steps you'll take, you can also define the risk level. So yes, there are some organizations working in high risk environment, for example. So or maybe the test that you are actually assigning to the operator is a high risk operation. Perhaps you define it upfront in the system. So while you create this work order and while you assign it, then you'll have additional instructions coming from B. Maybe you need a safety specialist accompanying you when you are performing a maintenance operation, for example. Or maybe you need to make sure that you have certain safety training already. You are taking certain safety trainings basically in your record, so system can check if you have those certifications up to date and if you are good to go to that work, basically, right? The work order. So that setup is basically available in Beam as to risk management. Am I missing anything, Sam, as to address this question?
Oh, yes, I think you answered the question. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Sam. Let me see if I can address one more question before we end our session. I think there is a question about mobile apps. I talked about mobile app briefly. Sam, you want to share a little bit more information about the mobile app available?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the mobile application of Beam, it is available for Android and iOS device. So you can download it from our Google Play Store or the App Store for iOS device. And then you can run Beam on your handheld device like your smartphone or tablet. So once you connect to your Beam, you can see the same data set that you can see in the web browser. Because for the mobile application and also the one that you can see in the web browser, they are coming from and going to the same database so that you can find all your notification, for example, your work order on your handheld device, and you can manage it, and also like filing a new work request from your smartphone or tablet as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. For your information, we keep our contact information on the screen. So if you'd like to have a one-to-one session, if you'd like to schedule a meeting with us, if you'd like to, further this discussion, please just send us an email. We can schedule time and we can talk more in detail about your company, about your challenges, and how we can help you manage your assets, maintenance operations in a digital environment. As I mentioned earlier, especially nowadays, in the face of COVID-19, it's difficult for companies. It is difficult to run the business. It's difficult to run operations, especially if you're not on cloud or if you don't have a web-based modern software. It is difficult to access data to make decisions based on evidence, right? That's an important principle of quality management. So when you're making decisions as an executive, you need to make sure you have the evidence, you have the data, you have the information, correct information with you, so that based on that you can make decisions and take action accordingly. So that's what actually Beam offers in a digital environment to help you manage your asset and maintenance operations. I received another question. I'll address that, and then I think we can end this session for today. The question is about the asset levels. How many assets we can put in Beam? What is the limit? Well, actually, on Beam, there is no limit. As for the asset tree that Sam demonstrated earlier, when you are designing it and the layers that you put, basically, there is no limit. That's one of our actually advantages in the marketplace. So there is no 6 or 7 layer limit, which is very typical in the marketplace. In the software industry, we have no limit. We can go basically infinity. As for assets, how many assets we can keep in the system is also basically infinity. As long there is no limit in the Beam. As long as your infrastructure, your hard drive, your cloud, for example, it has the space, it has the capabilities to hold the data, then we can go all the way. So that's one of the advantages of using an enterprise level system. We have customers using Beam with 10 users. We have customers using Beam with 8,000 users, 9,000 users. So we have been helping companies in different I will say, sizes, different industries. So that's a scalable system to help you adapt digital transformation and help you manage asset and maintenance management operations in the face of COVID-19, especially nowadays. It's actually a great tool to have and use. Well, before we end our session, I'd like to invite you to our YouTube channel. Some of you also watch our webinars from YouTube live. I know that, which we appreciate it. And if you haven't, please subscribe our YouTube channel. It is actually very active. Every week we always post videos about our products, about digital transformation, and we highly encourage you to visit our YouTube channel and subscribe at your earliest convenience. And we have an Eventbrite page. You can see our executive webinar lineup, and you can see what is coming up is for webinars about digital transformation, quality management, performance management, asset management, automation. So that any of them that may be of your interest, you can register and join us in our coming webinar session. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. We have our contact information on the screen, so you can always contact us. Just send us an email and we'll be having further conversations with you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in our coming webinar session. Thank you so much and have a nice day.